Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode.
I'll be concluding this series with this part for now. Advaita is a very abstract concept. It is very theoretical, people say. Yes, it is true in some sense, but through my blogs and of course those blogs as in the format of these episodes, I've tried to make Advaita as relevant as possible from the different perspective mentioned in part 1 to this last one. I started this series because many of our lifestyles already comprise pieces of evidence that can lead to absolute reality, but we are constantly failing to notice it. Om. The word Om, for example, directly signifies the three states, and the fourth part of the word Om is silence, and that is the Turyam or Brahman or the Self. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. We have been reciting that shloka since we were kids, but never ever have we paused to reflect and wonder what is the Parabrahma. And that shloka clearly shows that Parabrahma is different than the Lord Brahma, because Guru Brahma is already mentioned in the beginning. Tvam Pratyaksham Brahmasi. The mantras in Atharvashisha are something in regular practice in many Brahmin families, and yet I've seen many does not even ponder about what is the meaning of it, like don't even think about what is Gunatrayatitaha, Avastatrayatitaha, Dehatrayatitaha, Kalatrayatitaha, etc. Why is Lord Ganapati described with these attributes? Why is he revered as Tvam Pratyaksham Brahmasi? Just like Bhagavad Gita, where he is also telling all of these. Here the same thing is happening with Ganapati, that's all. So now let's see what is Brahman. We know words by which it is called, the Self, Parabrahma, Turyam, etc. However, describing or explaining it is impossible. So the Upanishads and various Vedic texts, mantras, etc. try only to point us towards it by neti, not, a way to describe something by not describing it or saying what it is not. Through phrases like Gunatrayatitaha, one beyond the three gunas, Rajasic, Tamasic and Sattvic. Avastatrayatitaha, one beyond the three states, awakened, dream and sleep state, or world we can say. Dehatrayatitaha, gross, subtle and causal body. Kalatrayatitaha, beyond past, present and future. And Shaktitrayatmakaha, beyond states of energy, creation, protection and destruction. But the word beyond here does not suggest or should not be confused and understood that Brahman does not exist in the above mentioned. Who said that? It is indeed in everything and everyone. Example, even though it is called Avastatrayatitaha, the Self is present in all three states, right? But it is not those states. It is the fourth. We call it Turyam. But essentially, it is in everything and it is everything. So, see, I am not an expert in Vedic scriptures, nor have I read it all in the first place. But I can say that I am not that stupid to discard works of great personalities like Sri Shankaracharya, Buddha, or Sri Krishna himself. Or in fact, the rishis like Atharvana, Angirasa, Bharadwaja, all those great sages who are held almost as significant to gods, or the Upanishads themselves, or the Lord of Death Yama who gave away the absolute truth to Nachiketa through the third boon, right? When Shankaracharya said Aham Brahmasmi, it is at that state where he did not see another. At that state where one realizes singularity that he made that statement. And ignorant people comment about such a great personality that Shankaracharya is arrogant to claim that he is God. First of all, he didn't claim that. We already busted that myth in the part 2 itself. He is not claiming to be Brahma, the God, but he was claiming what everyone and everything is. It's like being scrutinized for telling that we are all beings, we are all living beings. Ridiculous that would be. That is what he just did. In fact, there are a lot of similarities between Buddhism and Advaita because essentially they are trying to talk about the absolute truth. The difference is that Advaita calls it the Brahman, but Buddha calls it nothingness. And it makes complete sense why the great Buddha called it so. Because when he was in that state, what else could he see? Nothing, right? So what he said there is nothing. What he could see was nothing. Whether it is Sri Adi Shankaracharya, the Buddha, or Sri Krishna, I am you, I am everywhere, all of them are trying to convey the same absolute truth. Confusing that for monotheism is again a delusion arising from the assumption that Krishna, Shankaracharya, or the Buddha are talking merely from a bodily associated point of view. In the last episode, we talked about delusions, and while speaking of optical delusions, we wondered about the possibility of the whole world being an illusion. Reasoning for a while can get you there. Imagine this world to be a highly complex light modulating machine, okay? And you're at different places apart from the center where there is a light source, okay? Now, the only thing that is the absolute truth is the light at the center. But due to so many multiple reflections, the source is too much distorted. The only thing you are sensing is various distorted versions of the same light. But you are unaware that this is the case. Okay? Or you can imagine this world to be a crumbled paper. It's the same paper everywhere, but different levels and varieties of folds, bends, and crumbledness throughout. Okay? Of course, these models are again abstract, but it opens up to you the possibility that everything might be one after all. So when I say everything is delusion, people again go to the wrong narrative or direction that they should discard all this that they are doing, and that is absolutely wrong. That is not at all what we are trying to say. Advaita, or the path of awareness, at its best activates your dormant viveka and ultimately makes you realize the singular nature of reality. At its worst, it at least leaves you with the ability to stay open-minded, unlike belief systems, and the ability to find solutions through reasoning and intuition rather than being in delusion, even though it is creating suffering and pain, assuming there is no way. You have seen that, right? People just assume that there is no way. And through this series, Understanding Advaita, that is all I aspire to convey. Whether you get realized or liberated or not, at the least, be open to possibilities. Be open to the possibility that you and the universe are not two, but one. Just because you don't see it does not mean it doesn't exist. If you are suffering, that means you are not seeing something. Ignorance is the cause of all suffering. And with that mindset, irrespective of your spiritual interest, you'll live a fulfilled life.
I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnebi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book, The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.